I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
One moment, please.
Yes.
I have to read a statement into the meeting for a special meeting. Thank you.
You have the floor, Mr. Clerk.
The special meeting called July 25th, 2022. Copies of the warrant for this special meeting were given to the Chief of Police, who has duly certified as to the service of the warrants. A copy of the call has been posted in the town and clerk's website. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening. I would like to make the motion that we take action on reports of committee, which is Committee of the Whole with accompanying substitute resolution.
Second.
A motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Any discussions? There being none, Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale. Councilwoman Hercules.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zeddy.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon. Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we take action on the substitute resolutions, beginning with substitute resolution number 1, which is the Democrat substitute charter resolution number 1.
Second.
A motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Any discussions? Councilman Mitchum.
Just by way of explanation and also so I don't lose track. Substitute resolution 1 is the non-substantive. This is the sort of technical errors resolution, correct? I just want to make sure that I stay on top of what we're doing here.
Yes, unless it's corrected by Corporation Counsel. This is, yes, the non-substantive.
So I would just...
I'll read the resolve clause.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Resolve that the Court of Common Council does hereby ask the Charter Revision Commission to make the technical errata changes as detailed in the red line version of the recommended charter attached and incorporated by reference thereto.
Are there any other discussions? Corporation Counsel Rifkin.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to make clear that this resolution would not prevent the Charter Revision Commission from finding other technical problems with the proposed charter revisions and sending those back to the council for final action.
Thank you for that clarification, Corporation Counsel. Are there any other questions or discussions? Councilman Mitchum.
I just feel like we should say if anyone is hates their own life enough to be sitting here watching us do this, what it is we're doing is that we have a few resolutions, and this one is where we found things that don't really change what they were trying to do, but they were little errors. And so we went through them, mostly Corp Council went through them, and we're saying, hey, Charter Revision Commission, go back and fix these. And then the next resolution is where we talk about the substantive errors, and the one after that is Councilwoman Hercules and my suggestion for substantive changes, so people know what we're doing.
Absolutely, but Councilman, that was the resolve clause that Councilman Clark just wrote, and if we're going to follow the agenda, so right. We will get to your items, okay?
I'm just saying layperson's language, so people know what we're doing. That's all.
Thank you. There being no other comments, Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale. Councilwoman Hercules.
Yes.
Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon. Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we take action on substitute resolution number 2, which is the Democrats substitute charter resolution number 2. And I'll read the resolve clause. Resolve that the Hartford Court of Common Council does hereby ask the Charter Revision Commission to make the substantive changes as detailed in the red line version of the recommended charter attached and incorporated by reference thereto.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Any discussions? There being none, Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Gale, Councilwoman Hercules,
Yes.
Councilman LeBron,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon. Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor, which I know you're going to pass on to Councilman Mitchum or not for clarification.
No, I'll just read it, and then I'm
Thank
quite
you.
sure my great colleague here probably will add to it after I get done reading it. Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we take action on substitute resolution number 3, which is Working Families Party's substitute charter resolution number 1.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Any discussions? Councilman Mitchum.
I would actually like to make a motion that, if possible, we sever. There's 4 parts here in this substitute resolution, and I would like to sever them because I haven't gotten to really discuss it with my colleagues, but I have some hope that perhaps even if there's not support for all of them, there might be support for some of them. And I had thought when we planned this that they would come in as single resolutions, not one big one. So I would move that we sever the resolutions into 4.
I would second that.
A motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Any discussions? Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll on the motion?
Councilman Clark,
No.
Councilman Gale, Councilwoman Hercules,
Yes.
Councilman LeBron,
No.
Councilman Mitchum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado,
No?
Councilwoman Rossetti,
No.
Councilman Sanchez,
No.
Councilman Surgeon. Motion failed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And now we're back to our original motion. Are there any other discussions? Councilman Mitchum.
Thank you, Madam President. I do want to speak briefly in favor, obviously, because I wrote it with Councilwoman Hercules, but
You have the floor.
thank you. So as to section 1 of our resolution, there was, as I think a lot of folks on this body know, there was a lot of discussion since we ran for election way back 3 years ago about having districts rather than an at-large system. And I know that during the discussion in the charter revision, there were some very good ideas about how we could have districts and we could preserve minority party representation. We are, I think, Attorney Mednick told us, the last city that does not have districts. And the experts who spoke to the Charter Revision Commission said that having districts creates accountability. It creates participation, and it increases voter participation, which is something we desperately need. So I hope that we will urge the Charter Revision Commission to take this question up again. Moving on to number 2, it's self-explanatory, but I think most folks would like to see this body, the Court of Common Council, which is the people most directly represented, have more power over boards and commissions. As it is, the mayor appoints majorities on all of them. And that just puts a whole lot of power in one person. And with some diversity of views, with some back and forth, with some public debate, we could invigorate our political process overall by invigorating our boards. As to number 3, same basic idea, we should elect our Board of Education, a majority of them, instead of having a majority appointed by the mayor. for the same reason. We want to engage people. We want people to feel like they have a direct line to what is going on, how the schools are being run, instead of a line that runs through a once every 4 years election to the mayor. And lastly, and this is, I think, the most important and the most frustrating for me in watching this charter revision process, is that we had some allegations of backroom dealing, right? I can't say how true they were, but enough seriousness of allegations to make a number of members, all the Black members and some others, walk away, to feel that the system was being rigged and their votes were getting pushed aside. And however true that is, like this, the remaining members needed to do something. They needed to send a message that says, these members matter, and the Black community of this city matters, and we need to bring them back in and create a space where they feel like they are participating fully in this process. I didn't see that happen. I think if what comes out of the Charter Revision Commission is to have legitimacy, if we want the people to look at this and say, yes, this is our document, this is the city's constitution that our representatives had a say in, then we have got to bring all those representatives in, at least make an effort. Maybe the outcome is the same concerning police commissioners or whatever else. But if the process looks dirty, the people are going to look at this whole thing as dirty. They're going to say the fix was in from jump. And we owe it to the people and to ourselves to make sure that that process is clean. So I would strongly urge you all to get on board for this last one as well. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Hercules?
Thank you. And thank you, Councilman Mixham. Through you, Madam President, just would like to echo some of the sentiments from Councilman Mixham, but kind of just encapsulating all of the proposed resolutions, and what they represent to me is a push towards more representation and more engagement from a wider cross-section of our community. We've heard overwhelmingly that our neighbors and our constituents do not feel engaged, do not feel connected to city government. And many of these resolutions go to better include and be more inclusive across, as a way to really start to bring more people in who have felt marginalized, who have felt cut off from city government and have not felt included in the political process in our beloved city. And so, you know, these resolutions are really a way to get towards that, to achieve that goal of including more people, of ensuring that government is more reflective of more members of our community. And I think that it goes a lot further than what has been currently proposed. Certainly it's not perfect, but I think it gets us closer to that goal. And so I would appreciate the support from council, our council colleagues on these proposed changes.
Are there any other discussions? Any other discussions? And so for the record, I just want to say that if I'm correct in this, and I did check it out twice, is that the commission held 29 meetings, which 2 of them were statutory public hearings. And out of those 29 meetings, I believe that the last 2 meetings was where some of the members did not decide to participate in those meetings, but this council body participated in 7 commission meetings, and at least all the council members attended. So we've been working towards this charter revision for over a year now. So there was ample time to participate, ample time to have conversations with the charter. So with that said, Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll on this? Yes, Councilman Misham.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to say, one, I didn't mean to suggest that the whole process wasn't very exhaustive, or that all of the folks here didn't also, I think, do their part, just to be clear. And the only other thing I wanted to say is to urge my colleagues to vote for this by saying all of these are just suggestions we send back to the charter revision, but not just Councilman Hercules and my own, but all of the other ones that we voted for. We send them back, and still the charter revision does its thing and sends it back to us.
And I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that there was ample time. This could have been done 6 months ago. This could have been done 2 months ago.
But here we are, we're all doing it, right? And
Absolutely.
all I'm asking of my colleagues is this: there's no harm in voting in favor of this resolution. We don't bind the Charter Revision Commission. All we do is open up to them the more possibilities to make the revised charter better. So I would urge you, even if you're not all on board for all 4 points, you lose little by broadening their scope so they can go back and give us more options to vote when it comes back to us in a couple weeks.
Duly noted. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Clark,
Thing.
Councilman Gale, Councilman Hercules,
Yes.
Councilman LeBron, Councilman LeBron, Council-
Mr. Clerk, I couldn't hear. What was Councilman Clark's vote?
abstain.
Okay.
Councilman LeBron, Councilman Mitchum,
Yes.
Councilman Rosado,
No.
Councilwoman Rossetti,
No.
Councilman Sanchez,
No.
Councilman Surgeon. Motion failed.
Do we have Councilman LeBron?
I did just text them, actually.
I think he's having connectivity problems.
Motion failed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I am going to call for, if I could have a brief recess for a second, please. I'll pause for a minute.
Do you need a motion or we just do it?
Well, I just need a second. I just need to see what, if Councilman LeBron is still with us. Okay, I can't get a hold of him. So with that said, thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned.
I'm present. I'm present.
And we had just closed out the vote and adjourned the meeting.
His
Okay,
vote wouldn't have changed the outcome anyway.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night. Thanks
night,
for the birthday
everyone.
wish.
Happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
I think I can pay for a $5 ice cream.
Where did Councilman Surgeon come from? So ridiculous.